For example, I work on large breeding farm that produce homozygous breeders. Males to be used on homozygous females develop at the other farm to produce hatching eggs for broilers. The breeder was only interested in quick growth, that is reaching a given weight in the shortest possible time. He accomplished this with his strain, but he did not understand the whole picture. You see, he had unknowingly bred a sex-linked lethal into his strain. It is a known fact that male chicks grow faster than females. This lethal can only be passed onto the offspring through the broodcock. He has two sex chromosomes, the genes on one being normal, inherited from his mother, the other being abnormal, inherited from his father. Since only the cock passes a sex chromosome to the daughters, half the daughters receive a normal sex chromosome and live. The other half inherits an abnormal sex chromosome and dies. Thus, all males live, but only one half of the females live. Since male grow faster the flock will gain more weight on the average is a shorter period of time. You will think this is good, as the breeder did, but he did not realize that 25% of the eggs were not hatching, one half of his pullets. So fertility was way off. Since the males were breeder, this was very bad. Word soon got around to avoid the strain for use as breeder due to low fertility. This is an example showing a breeder should not get carried away in one direction and lose sight of another. Another example of lethal gene in fowl, in this case, not sex-linked. In the top knot, which gave rise to taffy fowl, geneticists call this gene capital C for crest in ornamental breeds of chicken. It causes partially erect feathers on top of the head. This characteristic appearance has been produced by selective breeding by those that like the distinction of something a little different in appearance from the ordinary. However, on close examination, it has been discovered that the skull of tappies is highly abnormal in many ways. The frontal bones are very thin in comparison to other breeds, and there is sometimes an opening in the skull where no bone at all is found. The open spaces are covered only with membrane. It has been found that the protuberance varies greatly in different birds, and the degree of ossification of the top of the skull. There are sometimes many various shaped openings in the top of the skull. In one bird, there was no bone at all over the protuberance, and the skull viewed from the top to give the appearance of an open basin. The brain is modified to correspond to the shape of the skull, since the frontal cavity is entirely filled with brain. Darwin investigated the question as to whether there was any abnormality of behavior among these birds. He found that in some instances, the crested birds were stupid and abnormal in their behavior. Other characteristics of the crested birds are short beak, comb absent, or small unusual shape wattles either not present or replaced by a map. Study shows that birds can inherit the genes capital C from both mother and father, in other words, homozygous from double C, capital double C, I mean. The skull is so defective in this bird that the cerebrum pushes through, forming a cerebral hernia. These birds usually die. Heterozygous birds develop to hernia and are more or less normal. There are the ones that keep the breed going. 1/4 of the chicks will inherit 2 double C and die. one half will inherit capital 1C and one normal and live to carry on the whole breeding. One-fourth will inherit two normal genes and will not have a top knot, and when breed together will produce offspring that do not have a top knot. I know we have all seen top knot chicken that can really put a performance to be proud of, but I feel any breeder should give it a lot of serious thought before injecting into his own strain of fowl. If you decide to do so anyway, then go ahead. But remember, 1/4 of all eggs you said will not hatch. Poultry breeders have always wondered about different characteristics in the fowl that he has bred and raised. He has speculated on the causes of variation. It is only in recent years that any real understanding of the characteristic involved has been reached. No two individuals are exactly alike. Although no two are alike, there are many similarities. Many of the similarities are obviously due to the biological relationship between the individual. It is not readily realized that it is equally true that the variation among individuals may also be caused by relationship among them. Similarities and differences between individuals are the result of heredity and environment. Heredity factors are complex protein molecules which are called genes. These genes are located in a definite order on the chromosome which are found in all living cells. Genes can produce themselves exactly for many cell generation. However, the chemical arrangement of a gene may change, resulting in a different action of the gene, and under certain circumstances resulting in a new character. This change is called a mutation. The mutated gene now reproduces itself in the changed form the same as it did its original form. Thus, the mutation may be inherited in the next generation. Fortunately, most mutations are recessive and can only express themselves in a homozygous state. Many characters are the result of genes working within the framework of their own environment. In gamecocks, gameness does come in degrees, from so-called dead game to the rankest dunghill. This is of course a very undesirable characteristic, and the breeder is very anxious to get rid of it. Yet, in the spite of the fact that the breeder does not use the dunghill as a breeder, the characteristic keeps cropping up in new generation. It is obvious that some hereditary factors is causing this, since the full brothers raised under the same environment, some will gain and some not. Okay po. Dito pa pinapaliwanag, kung kayo po bibili ng isang materyales sa isang prominent breeders, kailangan pumunta po kayo. Hindi po yung aasa lang kayo sa ibibigay ng breeders. Kasi sinasabi niyo, kung kwento niya, merong isang bumiling baguhang mamimili, pinadala siya ng manok na isang breeder, pero yung pinadala sa kanya, ayos, maganda yung mga pedigree. Ang problema may content defect. Yun lang ang pero yung quality ng manok nandoon sa dugo. Kaya lang meron lang content defect. Pero wala man yung problema yun, pwede mo i-breed yun. Eh sinasabi niya dito, kung kayo'y seryosong bibili ng isang materyales sa isang sikat na breeder sa atin sa Pilipinas, ang recommended nila, puntahan nyo yung, parang bisitahin nyo, tapos ikwento mo sa breeder kung ano yung gusto mong linyadong kukunin, tapos mag-usap kayong dalawa. Ganun lang. Yun lang ang suggestion dito. Kasi ito mga breeder to, kaya alam nila kung paano binibigyan ng mga pointers yung mga bagong magmamanok na papasok sa industriya natin. Yun ang gagawin niyo talaga. Huwag kayong manghinayang sa malayo. Puntahan nyo yung breeder mismo. Pumili kayo. Tapos sabihin mo sa kanya kung ano yung mga kailangan mo. Sa manok, kung anong gusto mong linyada. Yun lang ang pinakamagandang gagawin mo. Huwag kang umasa sa padadala sa'yo. Yung bibigay ka ng pera, tapos padadala sa'yo. Eh, parang hindi ako sangayon doon. Pinakamaganda, visit the farm and ask them the breeder. Yun ang pinakamagandang gawin mo. Okay, hanggang dito na lang po kami. Meron pa pala akong nalimutan isa pa. Meron nagtanong sa akin dito nung isang araw, paano daw mapapaganda yung katawan ng mga manok. Sabi ko sa kanya, ano ba, hipo. Isang mahaba daw at isang medyo bilog. Yung cold body, yung cone. Sabi ko sa kanya, pag mahaba katawan, hindi masyadong gaganda katawan dahil mahaba. Ang gumaganda katawan, yung mga putol. Yung parang puso, shape, like a heart, yung parang ganon. Yung magagandang hipo. Pero wala namang problema ho yung sa fighting style. Kaya lang, yung hipo ay tinatanong. Sabagay, hindi ko naman nakikita. Nire-realize sa akin yung tanong. Yun yung pinaliwanag ko sa kanya. Yung parang puso, yun ang maganda katawan. Sa pagpapakain naman ng manok, kung gusto mo magkalaman yung manok mo, damihan mo ng pellets. Dagdagan mo lang ng pellets para magkaroon ng laman. Ngayon, pag nagkalaman na, bawasan mo na yung pellets. Ganun lang yun. Kung gusto mo magpataba, kailangan maraming pellets. Saka every week magpurga ka. Pagpurga ka ngayon, after 10 days, purga ka uli. Hindi ka pwede magpurga ng isang beses isang buwan. Hindi salaho yun. Magpurga ka ngayon. Bibilang ka ng taste tip. Bibilang ka ng after 10 days, pupurga ka uli. Dahil nandun pa yung itlog ng mga itlog ng mga bulate nandun pa. Kaya twice ang purga. Yun lang po ang aking masasabi dyan. Maraming salamat po sa aking mga subscriber. Maraming salamat sa inyo. At marami-rami na rin akong views dito. Mga kulang-kulang na rin 1.5. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Pakisubscribe naman po ulit kayo sa akin. Subscribe, like, and comment. Hanggang dito na lang po. Maraming salamat po.